All right, so we'll start now. This is the 10th Mamer in the Parshas Chukas and the Likutei Torah. The Mamer yאמרו המושלים bo cheshbon v'gomer balei bomis arnen. So discussing over there after the great miracles Hashem did for the Yidden and the Shira that the Yidden did, and then we talk about how they conquered. So he says yאמרו המושלים. So the Mamer says, the Pasuk says, the Mamer yאמרו המושלים boyu cheshbon v'gomer. So the Muslim, basically, the Pashta Taich means those who say parables and they discuss the events that took place over there. So they would say that the Balei Bomis Arnen and how they were defeated as it goes on there. So he says, in the Darshu Razal, Perik Heide Baba Basra, the rabbis of blessed memory expounded in the 5th Perik of Basra. Who's the Moshlim? Moshlim means those who dominate. Elu ha-Moshlim b'Yitzra. These are the ones that dominate their Yetzer Hara. They are in control of their Yetzer Hara. That is ha-Moshlim. So what do the Moshlim say? They say, Boyu cheshbon. Let's go make an accounting. So Boyu v'nachshuv cheshbon shalom. Let's go and let's calculate the cheshbon of the world. That is the Boyu cheshbon. The Hovin zeh. So we need to understand this. What does this mean? And Gam lahovin, also to understand Mamer Azal, the saying of our sages that Kol ha'oina omen yehesh meirabo mevorech b'chol koichoi. Anyone who answers, responds omen yehesh meirabo mevorech with all of his power, with all of his strengths. Koidim loy gzardina shalayim shana. So they would tear the decree of 70 years that has been decreed. I mean, the lifetime of a person. So let's say he has a bad decree. So any bad decree of the 70 years, they rip it up in the Zuchus as a merit, because he said Yehesh Meiraba with all of his koyach. And this is from the Gemara in Shabbos Perik Tazayin in Kuf Yutes Amud Beis. So Yesh Lahagdim, need to introduce the Inyan Yeridas HaNeshama Beguf, the idea of the descent of the soul into the body. Yerida Tzorech Aliyah. It's a descent for the purpose of an elevation. So the Yesh Lahavin, so we have to understand what is this elevation that we're talking about? What are we saying? That you're coming down, the neshama is coming down in order to go to a higher, to an elevation. What is this elevation? She was in a very high level. It was standing before Hashem. That's before the neshama comes down. Mishikosu Eliyahu, as Eliyahu says, Chaya Vaya, Asher Amaditi Lefonov. By Hashem's life, I stood before him, meaning that the soul, before it descended, stood before Hashem. Umisham, and from the level of standing before Hashem, Yordo Ploim, it descended in wondrous levels, meaning in the tremendous levels. Lihislabish b'chomer gufni ba'olam hazeh hashavel, to dress up in the material, the physical material in this low world. Our world is low world. So the neshama from a great place, from Lifnei Hashem, Amadati Lefonov, came down into this physical world. And when the neshama leaves the body, it says V'ruach toshuv el ha'elikim asher nisana, that the spirit, the neshama, will return to God that has given it, which means it'll go back to its source and its root. So what kind of advantage of a additional maila is there through this Yerida? It comes from before Hashem, it goes back to Elohim, and then in the middle it goes down into such a descent. Basically, the Alter Rebbe is going to explain that in this world we get the Sev of Kol Almim, that the mitzvahs and the Avodah in this world gives us a much higher level than the level, even the highest level of Memalek Kol Almim, which the Neshama stood by, doesn't come to the level that we attain when the Neshama comes down into this world and does the physical world and does Torah mitzvahs, Ma'asim Tovim, in this Elam Hazai Gashmi. So we'll understand all this by first introducing the idea of Memalek Kol Almim and Sev Kol Almim. The Hinei B'chinas Memalek Kol Almim hu Oir v'Shefa Halikis HaMislabeshes u'Nitzveses b'Torah Chukas. Memalek Kol Almim is a light and it's a godly flow that dresses up, and it is captured. It is nitzvas in the world. In the world itself, it comes down. And it comes in a order and in a step by step in the world, me'ila le'ila, from one cause to the other cause. In other words, from one madrega to the other madrega, from the higher madrega to the lower madrega, and kol chad lepum shiura delay, each one according to their measure, meaning there's various different creations, there's various different levels. Every level gets its own, according to its shiur, all the creations in the word Bria, Yitzira, and all the Shtalshlus, Ad Shemislabeshes Gamkin, B'Shemayim V'Oretz Gashmim Lifi Erkom, until it comes down into the physical heavens and the earths according to their value, according to their level. To understand this, it's known and it's explained in Sefer Yetzirah, the Yesh Bechinas Olam Shona Nefesh. There is a level of world, there is a level of time. You know, Olam, world would mean space. So there is space, there is time, and there is soul, Nefesh, there is the person. Just for an example, we say like on Yom Kippur, in the world, the holiest place physical is the place of the Beis HaMikdash. In the year, the holiest day is Yom Kippur. And in Nefesh, the holiest servant is the Kohen Gadol. So in Yom Kippur, you have Olam, the world, in the Beis HaMikdash, in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. That's the holiest place. In the year, it's Yom Kippur, you have the Nefesh. So you have everything of Olam Shalom Nefesh. Pirush Olam. What does it mean, the world? That would include all the skies, all the earth. That's part of the olam. And that includes also the inanimate, the growing, the living, and the human. World means everything, the whole world that's in it. The nefesh, what is the nefesh? That's the soul of the world, that is the godly chayis that dresses up in a way of Memalek Kol Almim. So he's talking basically right now between the world, the Geshem, and talking the soul of the world. The world is everything in the world, and that's the soul. But what about the Shana? So he says the bracket over here is Lab Shazu, Uaidei Bechinas Shana, it comes through the level of Shana, as will be explained. Within the world, there is many different steps. Using the lotion of the pasuk, Gavoya, Ma'al Gavoya, higher on top of higher. So there's always a higher level, then there's a higher on top of that higher level. Le'ein kates b'bchinas hizdachus hakedli, chemer v'akeli. To no end, to the level of how much the materialism and the vessel, the receptacle, is refined. Because shekol hagavoya, gavoya, hu yoser ruchnis umufshet min ha'agshama. The higher the level is, he's higher in spirituality, which means he's more spiritual. He's more undressed from the physicality. That's refined, that's the higher level. Like we see vividly, you can see b'mailas gufachai, that there is an advantage, the body of the living over the level of the inanimate and the growing. And then you have and the level of the human higher than the chai. So even the body of a living, you can see a different, how it's greater than the inanimate and the growing, and the human is even greater than the Baal Chai. So basically, the higher you are in level, the more refined you are, the less materialistic you are. And so in the general, the materialism of the heavens, the skies, is refined endlessly without a measure than the material of the earth. We say this Gashmim and the physical element. And in a similar way, Gavoya mal Gavoya, higher than higher. So there's a Kinoida, as it's known, just like there are 7 physical skies, the different skies, the 7 kach yesh gamkin zayin rikim ruchnim. There's also 7 spiritual rikim. V'nikra zayin heicholos, and they're called the 7 heicholos. Those aren't already spiritual level. Yesh kamo b'chinas umadreges b'chinas heicholos hanal, and there's also various different levels and steps in the levels of the heicholos. So this is in the olam. That's the physical world. That's the everything that includes the world. Now we're talking about the oir that is mechaya, the neshama, the nefesh, which is mechaya, the world, the memalik olam. Likewise, also nefesh. That is the light and the godly vitality that extends to them, and it dresses up in the world. So that light that comes down different of level, relative to the level of his dachachus muhus kli ha'olam, the level of the refinement of the essence of the vessels of the world, likewise will shine and be revealed in the world based on his refinement, its refinement, the level of the light and the nefesh. Shebe'olam ha'elyon ha'or v'chayis shom b'bchinas ma'ilo madrego elyono. Over there is the level from a higher level, a higher step gets revealed over there. Over there, they're sitting and enjoying the ray of the Shekhinah. In a similar way, the light goes and evolves. Rabbi's Moed is descend many steps. Ad Shabo v'nimshach ha'oir b'chayes ba'olam ha'shofel, it comes down, it extends in this low world, b'tzimtzum godel me'oid, in a great contracted, very great contracted level into this world. That's the light that comes into this world. Behein oir v'chayes shemayim v'oretz, those are the light and the energy of the shemayim v'oretz, v'amazolos hakvuim behem, and the constellations that are set in the world. Because we say, she'eloch esa milmato, there is not even a grass below, she'en le mazel milmailo, that doesn't have a mazel, a spiritual counterpart above that mazel, hamakiboy, that bangs in him, tells him grow, which means that's the spiritual level, that's a step up from the Gashmis Dika Asa. Ubchinas Hachayis Vanefesh Hayisar Achrein. That is the energy and the lowest of the Nefesh, Hamachaye Bchinas Hasam Chulu, which vitalizes the level of the grass. B'chol b'chinas seder ha'ishtalshlus shel b'chinas ha'nefesh v'olam b'biyah. So this entire order of ishtalshlus of the nefesh, this is the chayis, the malaklam, the olam, that's the world, the kelim, in briya tzirasiyah. Meireish kol dargin, atzev kol dargin, starting from the first of all levels till the end of all levels. The end of level Kimoi, that would be Ba'asabim Hagedelim Mehamazel, the grass that grow from the mazel, who Hanikro Memalukulam. That is called Malukulam. Hainu B'chinas Nefesh Amislabeshes B'chinas Oilam. That's the Nefesh which dresses up in the Oilam. Ul Erech B'chinas Oilam. Relative to the level of the oilam, that's the nefesh. So the nefesh matches up with the level of the oilam. Okay, so now we covered basically oilam and nefesh, but we didn't cover shana. What is the idea of shana? The idea is the hine ono emrim. We say uvetuvei mechadesh. The Eibishter renews the act of creation every day. What does it mean, this renewal? The chayis is rotze v'shoy. It means it runs and returns. What is the energy of the spirit of life by a person? That's the pulse in the heart. It goes forward and back. What does it mean? The Hainu. That's the blood. Wants to go back to its source, returns to the source. And then expands. that vitalizes the limbs. You push to the limbs to vitalize them and to bring back. Dua, as it's known, that's why from this comes the reason for the breath. It goes in circles like this, goes back. And it returns, leaves it after expansion. And then it goes, expands again. And so it's every instance. For every breath, there is removal, it leaves, and an expansion. Similar to this is that godly light which is in the creation. It's also bechinas rotzoi v'shoiv. Dresses up and leaves. And this is the meaning of, we say, v'chayis rotzoi v'shoiv, that the chayiv goes and returns, round and returns. This refers to the general vitality of all the worlds. Also the level of moti v'loy moti, meaning it comes and doesn't come, reaches and doesn't reach, because it keeps on expanding and then returning. Haniskar beitz chayim. This is the renewal of the chayis. Mamer, as we say mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh bereshis, that every instance he creates the ma'aseh bereshis. Why? Sharei kol rega, because every instant is talek chayis rishon. The original chayis that it had removed, it leaves. V'chayzev v'nimshach chayis chodesh memikoyre, and then it goes back to extend a new chayis from the source. And this is the way it's constantly in a way of rotzi v'shoiv. That's the level of shana. That level of the constant creation, the shana. Kishoidish is havus azman, because what's the root? How was time created? Umitzad b'chinas hamshocha zu is because of this hamshocha. Sha'achayis nimshach b'chinas rotzu v'shoiv, shu istalkus v'ishpashtus. Rotzu v'shoiv meaning that it removes and then it goes, expands. V'ayidei zeh nishav zman rega, that creates the instant. By way of example, through that coming and going, now we have an instance. Because there has to be this running and return. That has to take a time, an instant. That has to take the time. That created the time. Because of the many dividing up of the energy to various different many levels. And all of these details of this madreges, that comes through Rotzu v'shoiv. And lekach mishaber hazman kimoy shehu etzleinu. That's why it is created a time like we have it. Chulu, as explained elsewhere at length with Pirush Inyan, tshuva kodmo le'olam, that tshuva comes before the world, which means it's higher than the idea of zman. Ma'ato yesh lahovin pirush v'inyan loshen olam. What is the meaning? What is the idea of olam? So we have olam, and we have the chayis of the nefesh, and then we have the shana. So what is olam? Inyan loshen olam mahu. What is the olam? Hinei hachayis aliki shebachol olam hamislabesh boy lach yosei hanikra nefesh. This godly energy that every world has, that dresses up to violet, that we call it nefesh. That is similar to the energy of the neshama in its body. It hides inside the body. And the guf dresses up that chayis, the neshama, and obscures it, blocks it. So when you look, you see a body, but it hides the energy that's spiritual, the neshama. Right? It's like the king who's sitting in his room, closed up and hidden. So that his room, his palace, blocks him so that he is not revealed to no person. You can't see him. He's in his room. He's hidden away. Same thing is above. That light and energy, godly light from the that is dressed up and is hidden amongst the whole world. So is the world, and they are blocking on the godly light the ability so that it's not, shall not be revealed. Just like the soul which is dressed is hidden and it's not revealed. Sages tells them that come the brachas. Raya means he sees, but he can't be seen. That means he's hidden. So he sees he's there, but he's not visible. And that's why they're called Olames. The worlds are called Olames. The word Olames comes from the Lashon Helem. So Gamkein Lashon Helem. It also, world also comes from the language of Helem, blockage. Al Shem, Shem Alim Mastirim Chulu. Because they block and they cover. Ba'ayin Mashkos Mizarish. Parsha Shlach B'dinya Dibur Maschel Inya Amraglim. ובדבר המסחל טוב הארץ. אך בחינת ההסתר וההלם הזה, הוא בא לפי ערך המדרגה של האלמוס. This blockage and this obscurity comes relative to the level of the world. From the top levels to the lower level. שבאילם היסר העליין, שם אין ההסתר כל כך. In the higher worlds, there's not such a blockage. But the many descent of the steps from the cause to the effect, until the end of the world of Asiya, like in this world, this low world of ours, the block and the obscurity is total darkness. To the extent that the earth, the heavens and the earth appear as a total physical separated without the level of little. That's how it looks in this world. As above, as opposed to in the higher level from this Olam Hazeh, Olam Achuri, higher than this materialistic world. Nemar, over there we say, that the armies of the heavens, they bow to Hashem. So that there is a certain level of spirituality over there. Even in actual this world. The Galgalim, yesh bahem adayin, they still have a level of bittul, even the spheres. As we say that the sun, the sphere of the sun, the ball of the sun bows, so it comes from the east and it bows towards Ma'ariv, towards the west. As opposed to the elements that are under the galgal of the moon, those become materialistic, thick materialistic, like the physical world. All right.